Julian's world was a symphony of grey. A brilliant concert pianist in his youth, he had crumbled under the pressure of a grand performance, his hands freezing on the keys in front of a sold-out hall. Now, in his late 20s, he played not for acclaim, but for a few coins in his old, worn-out hat at Meadow Creek Park. Julian was a tall man with a lean frame, his skin a smooth, deep brown, and his hands, though scarred by past anxiety, still held a beautiful grace. He wore simple, dark clothes that helped him blend into the background, a stark contrast to the flamboyant stage life he once craved. His silent grief was a heavy cloak he wore daily. Meadow Creek Park was a sanctuary, a sliver of green in the concrete jungle. It was here, on a slightly out-of-tune public piano, that Julian found solace. He would play Chopin's melancholic nocturnes and Debussy's ethereal pieces, his music a quiet backdrop to the park's rhythm. Among his regular listeners was Miss Evelyn, an elderly white woman with bright, curious eyes and hair like spun silver. She often brought her small dog and a book, sitting on a nearby bench for hours, simply listening. Miss Evelyn had been coming to the park for over 50 years. It held the cherished memories of her children growing up and her husband's gentle company. One crisp autumn day, their peaceful routine was shattered. A slick, well-dressed white man, Mr. Harding, arrived at the park, flanked by city officials. He was a real estate developer, and his plan was to tear down Meadow Creek Park to build a luxury condominium complex. He announced his intentions with a cold, corporate efficiency, treating the park and its people as an inconvenience to his grand vision. A collective gasp of dismay rose from the community, and Julian stopped playing, his fingers hovering over the keys. Mr. Harding dismissed the park's value, calling it a wasteland and its inhabitants transients. Miss Evelyn, her face tight with anger, stood up and challenged him, her voice trembling with emotion. "This is not just land," she said. "This is a living history. This is our home." Mr. Harding merely smirked, his condescending expression a mask of detached politeness. That evening, as the news of the park's impending closure spread, Julian found himself drawn back to the piano. He began to play, not with his usual gentle sorrow, but with a fierce, burning passion. The music flowed from him a powerful torrent of emotion, a desperate plea for the park he had come to love. People began to gather, a diverse crowd of black and white faces, all drawn by the intensity of his performance. They had heard his music before, but never like this. It was a new sound, a sound of defiance and hope. Miss Evelyn, deeply moved by Julian's performance, approached him after he finished. "That was extraordinary," she said, her voice filled with a newfound resolve. She had heard of his past failure from a park regular who knew of his old career. Miss Evelyn, a woman of means and connections, saw an opportunity. "You can't just play for us," she told him. "You have to play for them. You have to make them listen." Julian, still weighed down by his past, was hesitant. He had promised himself he would never perform again. But as he saw the faces of the community members who loved the park, he felt a new purpose. His music was no longer just his own, it was for them. With Miss Evelyn's help, they organized a public rally and a demonstration at the City Hall meeting. They used Julian's music to tell the story of the park. Julian's performances at the rally were powerful, the crowd growing with each note, both black and white people coming together, all united by his melody. He played pieces that spoke of loss and healing, of struggle and triumph. His hands, once frozen by fear, now moved with a purpose born of conviction. At the City Hall meeting, Mr. Harding presented his plans with slick presentations and financial projections. He tried to discredit their movement, calling it a sentimental fantasy. Then it was Julian's turn. He didn't give a speech. Instead, he simply sat at a piano they had brought in and played. He played a piece that he had composed himself, a melody that started with the gentle, rhythmic sounds of the park children's laughter, rustling leaves, the quiet murmur of conversations. It built into a powerful, heart-wrenching crescendo, a musical representation of the community's sorrow and its fierce will to fight. As the music reached its peak, it was no longer just a performance, it was a testament to the soul of the park. Even Mr. Harding looked shaken, a flicker of humanity in his cold eyes. When the music faded, there was a stunned silence, followed by thunderous applause from the public benches. The City Council, visibly moved, voted to put the project on hold for a full review, citing the immense community opposition and the deep cultural value of the park. It was a victory, but it was just the beginning. Julian, no longer a busker but a hero of the community, continued his fight. He started a crowdfunding campaign to maintain and improve the park, using his music to raise awareness. He gave free piano lessons to the children of the community, both black and white, and the park's piano became a symbol of unity. He had not only saved the park but had also redeemed himself, proving that his music was not a measure of fame, but a powerful force for change. The melody of Meadow Creek Park would continue to echo, a sound of resilience and a reminder that true value is found not in profit, but in community.